Oh, excuse me, didn't see you there. Back at the boat today. Running a bit late actually. Didn't get up till 9 o'clock. Went out last night for a few beers and decided to turn the alarm off. So had a bit of breakfast, went and got me bits from from Asda, and it's getting on for 1 o'clock now. But I thought I'd pop down the boat and get a bit more work done. I acquired an oak table on Thursday from I think I got it from not Marketplace, Recycle or Free Cycle, and it's a blooming heavy one. I'll show you. There you go. In fact, these are the legs, very heavy. I don't know what I'm going to do with those yet, but the actual table is oak, very, very heavy. So my intention is to rip this down, probably in half, and use it for the one set of the doors, either the stern doors or the bow doors. In fact, if I rip it down carefully, I might get enough to do the actual stern doors, and also the inset on the sliding hatch. You can see it. It's a bit bright today, which I'm not complaining about. But we'll see how we go. Oh, I've still got to put the pegs in there yet. I must find them out. So that's the main task today. The other thing that I've already done, if I don't trip up, is I've put a more permanent fixing in place on the bow doors. When I say permanent fixing, I'm talking about the where the grills are going to go. In the last video you saw me weatherproof the outside of that. I'll actually put some wood on the outside too now. Two reasons: it makes it a little bit more weatherproof than just using gaffer tape, and it makes the whole door a lot more secure. It's secure anyway, but I got the bits of wood lying about, so I thought I'd use them up. I'll just show you how nice it is today outside. It's a lovely day. Hopefully you should hear me a little bit better today, because I'm using the Rode microphone. As you can see, it's a lovely day today here at the boat field or boat yard. There's a lot of activity down here today, and a lot more boats have appeared. Don't know where they're all coming from, but there's certainly a lot more here than there was when I arrived last April. Anyway, let's get on with some work. So here's the table. First thing I need to do is to remove this this top. Unfortunately, they're the old-fashioned slot type screws. Sometimes when you're removing these sort of screws, they tend to slip when you're using a cordless drill or screwdriver. But hey, we'll have a go. I think we're going to end up doing these manually, because some of them, the actual screwdriver bit, well, let's get the ratchet set up right. Some of them, the actual screwdriver bit won't even fit in, so I might as well remove these manually. Tell you what, let me remove these, and then as by magic you can rejoin me. There we go. So the removal of the first piece the table, or the edges of it. It's now done. I'm not sure if this edge is oak, but this top certainly is. Weighs a blooming ton. Very, very heavy stuff. And I'll strip this down eventually, the sides of the table, to make a bit of room. Right, let's get this lifted onto the bench or workmate, measured up, and then cut in half. I've just closed the hatch and the doors, because it's actually, even though it's quite warm outside, when the wind's blowing, it causes a bit of a draft in here. Anyway, let's get this lifted up and cut down. It's blooming heavy. Oh, really heavy. I think if I cut it, if I measure it upside down, it'll give me a more accurate measurement, because the other side's been routed. See what I mean? Right, it's 33.5 inches. So let's just rip that down into two. So 16.75 should give me the half of that. Doesn't need to be exact, because I'm going to rip it down again anyway. Let's just have a look. In fact, I'm going to rip it into 3 strips, I think, and then I won't get as much waste. So what we're going to use this for, the bow doors. Let me get the bow door measurements. Just go and get my notepad, which is thus. So yeah, the bow doors, not the bow doors, what I'm talking about. I'm going to do the stern doors. 39 inches by 307 millimeters. The reason I've put 2 different measurements in there is to upset you folk with OCD. No, not really. The reason I've done that, it's just easier for me to see the those increments on the tape. So if it's 13.5, 27, 28. So if I rip that down at 29 inches, I've got a spare strip of wood, and then I can then dissect the larger of the two halves. We'll do that. If we set this at about 4.5 inches, just to take that slither off. So it's not got to be exact. All I'm doing is taking that edge off. I really ought to have a sweep up in here, but you know what, I can't be bothered at the moment. I'm going to make more mess anyway. I'll probably have a good clean up when I've finished today. Right, let's rip that down at 4.5 inches wide. Right, let's get this wood over there. If I can. Blimey, it's it really is a 2-person job, this, but there's only one of me, so oh, it's heavy. Oh dear. should have gone and asked my neighbour Adi to give me a hand, but hey, I'm a bit stubborn in that respect. Oh, that was heavy. So this is a nice chunky size that we can use for something. Cut it down into two, and maybe even widthways or the thickness as well. It'll always come in good solid wood. So that's the new straight edge. So if I turn that around, like that, and I can measure the width of the actual door, and then do this one exactly the same. You know what? I made a bit of a boo-boo there. I've not cut the wood too short, but I've cut it for the bow doors, or it's just overcut for the bow doors, which are actually wider. So, bearing in mind the chances of getting a large free bit of pine again, not pine, oak, for the doors, I think I will keep these for the bow doors. So I'll cut them down to their 13.5 inches width. Yep, I don't know what that is in millimeters. Then I'll cut the length and then take it from there. I've got two choices then. I can either put this through a thicknesser, which is like a giant planer. I can plane them down, or I can route the edge so they fit into the insert. I'll show you what I mean. So the distance from the door to here is just under 25 mil, just under 25 mil thick, or that's a distance. The wood is 30 mil. So I can either plane the whole lot down, or just plane a little bit off the edge, so when the door shuts it squeezes up nicely to this metal infrastructure, or I can route that bit down. But primarily what I'm going to do now is just to get the width correct and the length, and we'll take it from there. Right, I've set the guide 13.5 inches from there to the edge of the blade. I'm just going to do a trial bit with this wood and then try it in the door, because I want to try and make it fit as perfect as I can. If it's a couple of millimetres out, it won't be good enough for me. Right, so let's try that on the door. Tell you what is a pain in the neck today. I have to keep remembering to switch the radio off, or I'll have a YouTube strike. As you can see, I need to take a little bit more off there. Don't know why I measured that wrong. Anyway, let's take another 5mm off, see how that goes. Right, let's try that. Oh, look at that. Nice, tight fit. So if I cut two of those planks down, i.e. the wood I got from the tabletop at that width, we should be good to go. One down. Where did I put the other plank? Oh, there it is. Tell you what, we'll use that one. So again, just cutting down with this known straight edge. The reason I'm not cutting down along the edge that's been routed is because over the years it's become a bit dinted and uneven. But this side I know is absolutely square because I've just cut it. Anyway, here we go. Sounded like it was belching then. A bit like me when I've been on the curry the night before. We won't go into that. Right, we'll just rip it down to length now. So first thing to do is to cut it down so it's roughly to its measurement. Now if I can get it in this way, which I can't without moving that wood, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure it roughly and go over it with the circular saw. In fact, I can probably put it on the chop saw. I should have enough play in that, and yeah, do it that way, so it'll be more accurate and less measuring to do. Let's have a look. So if I measure it roughly, and it was what, 45 inches long by 13.5 inches. We've already got the 13.5, so 45. So if I cut it at, I'll allow an inch or 30 millimeters for the edge of where it was originally, the edge of the table was originally routed, and then allow another inch. So if I cut that at 47 on here, yeah, and we'll move on from there. The sun's really coming out now, so 47 from the end, and that'll give me a bit of leeway. So 47 from here. I'll just square that up with a Rufus square. You can get two types of Rufus squares. You can get a 30 centimetre one, or 300 mil, or a foot one, 1 foot 12 inches, or a 6 inch. I'm using the larger one for this. I'll probably be using this later on in the build in different ways, which, if I do, you'll discover later. Let's just get that ripped down, and then we can do the same with the other one, and then cut them to size. It won't go all the way, but I'll be able to. I should be able to turn it around. Turn that around, line up my saw blade exact. There we go. Right, we'll do the same on the other one. See my mark? Just well, I can see it. It's getting very sunny down here, and let's just take that over to get rid of that. We can probably use that later as part of the padding. Tell you what, let's put that on there. These are handy things to have. I used these when I was doing the floor. There's a couple of them. I think they're called dollies. I think they are. Take a lot of weight when you're trying to move 8x4 sheets of 18mm wood or OSB or plywood on your own. It's certainly handy to have. Got those from Machine Mart. That should do it. Make sure it's nice and square to the back, and off we go. Turn it over and just repeat the process. Make sure we've got the blade aligned. Now we need to cut them both to size. Right, the bow doors are cut to size, roughly, slightly overcut. I've decided I'm going to buy a thicknesser or bench planer, because I'm going to be using some pallet wood in part of the construction of the interior, so I think I'll need one anyway. If I've got a bench planer or a wood thicknesser, it's going to make things a lot easier. So when I've got that, I'll continue with the doors. For now, because it's nice weather, I think I'll start off on the outside and get some Fertan on the boat where things are going a little bit rusty, and then when that's gone off, I can get some zinc primer on. The idea being to protect the boat on the outside. So let's get on with that. Tell you what, I've just been outside and it might look sunny, but it's bloody freezing out there, windy as hell. But I've still got to do get some of that Fertan on. So I've put my coat on, put my sort of jumper thingy on, and me running horse live hat to keep my head warm. This is not sponsored by the running horse, but must admit the hat was given to me by the proprietor, Rob Gibson. If you've not been to the running horse in Nottingham, do give it a try. If you like live music, it does open for non-paying gigs on a Saturday, and it's open as a pub cum bar every Friday. Advert over. Let's get on with the Fertan. So what is Fertan? As I've already mentioned, it's a rust converter. So basically clean off anything that's flaky where the rust is. I won't have anything like that on my boat. And then you paint it on, let it dry off for a few hours, clear off the powdery coating with a damp rag, and then you can paint it. Today I'm just going to go over the light bits of rust and see how it goes. I might not stay out there too long, to be honest with you. As I said earlier, it's getting a lot windier and a lot colder now than when I arrived down here at the boat. But let's go and have a look. So all I'm doing, I'm painting this on. Get it to stay on onto the rust spots, and then I'll let that dry, and then wipe the black powdery residue off, and then put on there, and then go over it with zinc primer to protect it. I should have done this at the end of last year, September, August, October time. I had a groin injury, so I wasn't down the boat for a few months. I was on crutches for about 12 weeks, but anyway, back to normal now, so at least it's better late than never, as I say. That's the Fertan done. It's beginning to get dark now, and tell you what, it's getting bloody cold. I'm blooming freezing out here. Let me show you what I've done without falling over. It doesn't look as dark on this camera. It looks quite light, these skies, but I assure you it's getting dark. So I've done, you can see, I've just put some I suppose it's like spot primer really. I put some Fertan on where the surface rust was appearing, and in about 72 hours time, something like that, I'll wash it off. In fact, I won't wash it off, I'll let the rain do the work, and then I'll wipe off the powdery residue if there is any, and touch it up with some zinc primer. Just go around here. It's not too bad on the starboard side. It's the other side where it really gets the where the weather really hits it. See, there's not much room now. I've been moved, and it's getting quite blowy. Anyway, that's what I've been up to today.